The elevator doors slid shut with a soft, pneumatic sigh, sealing me inside a box of glass and steel, and silence. Too much silence. I stared at my reflection in the mirrored wall. My hair was neat, my blazer perfectly pressed, my expression professional to the point of emptiness. No one would guess that 5 minutes ago, my hands had been shaking so badly I'd nearly dropped my phone. Top floor. Executive level. Of course. The elevator hummed as it rose, numbers blinking past with slow, deliberate cruelty. Every floor felt like a reminder, I didn't belong up there. Not really. Not in his space. I swallowed and adjusted the strap of my bag on my shoulder. You asked for this, I reminded myself. You didn't have to come. But I did. Because avoiding him hadn't worked. Because pretending nothing was wrong had only made things worse. Because the email, short, casual, devastatingly polite, had landed in my inbox that morning. Can you come up to my office? We need to talk. No subject line, no emojis, no context. Just like him. The elevator chimed. My stomach dropped. The doors opened onto a carpeted hallway that smelled faintly of expensive coffee and something citrusy, clean, controlled, powerful. Floor-to-ceiling windows lined one side, overlooking the city. Everything up here was quieter, slower, more deliberate. Even the air felt different, like it had been filtered for people who made decisions instead of followed them. I stepped out, heels clicking softly, and nodded to his assistant. She gave me a look, neutral, unreadable, that somehow made my nerves worse. He's expecting you, she said. Of course he was. I walked toward the large wooden door at the end of the hall. His name was engraved on a small metal plaque beside it. CEO, founder, visionary. Words people used when they admired him. Words that felt heavier now. I raised my hand to knock, hesitated, then knocked anyway. Come in. His voice, calm, low, unmistakable, sent a spark of irritation straight through my chest. I pushed the door open. His office was exactly how I remembered it, expansive but not flashy. Dark wood desk, leather chair, minimalist shelves. No clutter. No unnecessary decoration. Just clean lines and quiet authority. The windows behind him framed the skyline like a painting he owned. And there he was. He stood near the desk, jacket off, sleeves rolled up to his forearms. That alone felt unfair. He looked relaxed, like this meeting was just another line on his calendar instead of something that had been haunting me for weeks. When his eyes met mine, something flickered there, recognition, maybe. Or amusement, or concern. It was impossible to tell with him. Close the door, he said gently. I did. The sound echoed louder than it should have. Have a seat, he added, gesturing to the chair opposite his desk. I didn't move. I'd rather stand, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. One of his eyebrows lifted slightly. Not in annoyance, more like curiosity. All right, he said. Stand, then. He leaned back against the desk, arms loosely crossed. A posture that looked casual but somehow made him seem even more in control. Silence stretched between us. He studied me, not openly, not rudely, but thoroughly. Like he was reading between lines I hadn't spoken yet. Finally, he broke it. Still upset with me. The words were simple, almost light. They hit like a punch. My jaw tightened before I could stop it. Is that what you think this is? I asked. His lips curved into the faintest smile. I think it's been 3 weeks since you've spoken to me directly. I think you rerouted all communication through your manager. And I think you stopped looking at me in meetings. I looked away. Damn him for noticing. And I think, he continued, pushing himself off the desk and taking a step closer, that usually means someone's upset. I laughed, once, sharp and humorless. Wow, CEO and mind reader. He didn't rise to the bait. He never did. That was part of what made him infuriating. I'm not trying to provoke you, he said calmly. I'm trying to understand. I folded my arms, mirroring him, though it felt childish the moment I did it. Then understand this, I said. I don't appreciate being blindsided in a board meeting. His expression shifted, just a little. The smile faded. So that's what this is about. That's what it's about, I repeated. You announced a department restructure that directly affected my team, my job, without saying a word to me beforehand. I didn't remove your position, he said. You stripped it of authority, I shot back. You reassigned half my responsibilities. You made it look like I was failing. That wasn't my intention, but it was the result, I said. And intentions don't matter much when you're the one holding the power. That landed. He was quiet for a moment, eyes locked on mine. Not defensive, thoughtful. You think I did that to you, he said slowly. I think you didn't consider me at all, I replied. Another silence. This one heavier. He walked back to his desk and picked up a file, flipping it open. He glanced at it, then closed it again without reading. I should have spoken to you first, he said. The admission caught me off guard. I didn't, he continued. That's on me. I hadn't expected that either. But, he added, lifting his gaze, the restructure wasn't a reflection of your performance. Quite the opposite. I frowned. Then explain it. He motioned again to the chair. This time, I sat. He took his own seat behind the desk, leaning forward, elbows resting on the surface. I've been preparing you for a bigger role, he said. I blinked. What? The board wants expansion, he said. International. Fast. They need someone who understands operations, people, and pressure. Someone who can build something from chaos. My heart thudded. You, he said plainly. I stared at him, trying to process the words. You took things away, I said slowly, to prepare me for more. I took things away so you'd stop being buried under work that doesn't challenge you anymore, he corrected. And so others could see what happens when you're not propping everything up. I shook my head. You don't get to make decisions about my career without involving me. You're right, he said immediately. I should have told you. I underestimated how personal it would feel. Personal. The word echoed. Because it was personal. More than I wanted to admit. I exhaled, rubbing my temples. You have no idea what those weeks were like. Then tell me, he said quietly. I looked up at him. Really looked. For the first time since this started, he wasn't the untouchable CEO behind glass and authority. He was just a man, sitting across from me, asking me to speak. I felt disposable, I said. Like everything I'd built could be rearranged with a single slide on a presentation. His jaw tightened. That was never my view of you, he said. Then what is your view of me? I asked before I could stop myself. The question hung in the air. His eyes didn't waver. Indispensable, he said. My breath caught. The room felt suddenly too small. Too quiet. That's when I realized this conversation, this tension, had never been just about work. And judging by the way he was looking at me now, he knew it too. The silence after his answer wasn't empty. It was full of things unsaid, of realizations settling too quickly, of emotions neither of us had planned to name today. Indispensable. The word echoed in my head, louder than it had any right to be. I forced myself to breathe normally. In, out. I refused to let him see how much that single word had shaken me. "That's a big word," I said finally, leaning back in the chair. "You use it lightly." His lips twitched. "Never." "Of course not." He never spoke without intention. That was part of the problem. Every sentence from him felt measured, weighed, deliberate, like he was always 10 steps ahead. "And yet," I continued, "you didn't think I deserved a conversation." "I thought I was protecting you," he said. I laughed again, softer this time. "Tired. You know what's funny? Every time someone says that, it usually means they were protecting themselves." His gaze sharpened. "Is that what you think I did?" I met his eyes. "Isn't it?" He leaned back slightly, fingers interlacing. For a moment, he looked less like a CEO and more like a man forced to confront something he couldn't delegate away. "I don't like mixing variables," he said slowly. I frowned. "Variables. People I care about," he clarified. "And decisions that can affect them." My pulse skipped. People I care about. I should have shut that down. Should have redirected the conversation back to professional ground. But the truth was already spilling out, and neither of us seemed willing to stop it. So instead, I said quietly, "You made a decision that hurt me." "Yes." The directness caught me off guard. "I chose the risk I thought I could manage," he continued. "And I miscalculated." I looked down at my hands. They were clenched together in my lap. "You're not used to that," I murmured. "Miscalculating." His mouth curved slightly. "No." "Apologizing," I corrected. He exhaled through his nose. "Fair." Another silence settled. This one felt different, less defensive, more fragile. I stood, unable to sit still anymore, and walked toward the windows. The city stretched out below, indifferent and massive. Cars moved like ants. Lives continued. The world didn't pause just because two people were standing on opposite sides of a line neither had meant to draw. "You know what bothered me the most?" I said, my back to him. "What?" "You didn't look at me when you announced it," I said. "You looked everywhere except me." I heard his chair shift. "I couldn't," he admitted. That made me turn. "What do you mean, you couldn't?" He stood too, slowly, like he was choosing each movement carefully. "Because if I had," he said, "I might have changed my mind. And the board wouldn't have waited." I stared at him. "So you avoided me?" "Yes. Because you didn't trust yourself." He didn't deny it. The realization settled heavy in my chest. "That's not professionalism," I said softly. "That's fear." He stepped closer, close enough now that I could see the faint crease between his brows, the sign he was thinking too hard. "You make me hesitate," he said. The honesty of it stole my breath. "That's not something a CEO is supposed to say," I whispered. "I know," he replied. "That's why I don't say it often." The air between us felt charged, like something electric had been humming beneath every interaction for far longer than either of us wanted to admit. I crossed my arms again, but this time it wasn't defensive. It was grounding. "So what now?" I asked. "You called me up here. You apologized. You explained. Is that it?" He studied my face. "Is that what you want?" "I don't know," I admitted. "That's honest," he said. I sighed and looked away. "I didn't come up here to fight. I came because I needed to know if I was imagining things." "Imagining what?" "That you treat me differently," I said. "That the rules bend around me. That I'm not just another employee to you." He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was quieter. "You're not." The words settled slowly, dangerously. I felt my chest tighten. That's a problem. Yes, he agreed. It is. We stood there, neither moving, the distance between us suddenly feeling very intentional. A boundary. Thin. Fragile. You know this can't go anywhere, I said. I know, he replied. You're my boss. Yes. And anything beyond this room would complicate everything. I'm aware. And yet, I said, my voice barely above a whisper, you keep looking at me like that. His jaw tightened. Like what? Like you're deciding whether to step forward or step back. He took a breath. A real one. Slow. Measured. I've already stepped back, he said. For a long time. That sent a shiver through me. Why? I asked. Because wanting something doesn't mean you get to take it, he said. And because you deserve a career that stands on its own, not whispers and assumptions. I nodded. That was unexpectedly respectful. And because, he added, if I ever crossed that line, I'd want it to be because you chose it, not because power made it easier. My throat tightened. I hadn't expected that either. So this distance, I said, this cold professionalism, that was restraint. Yes. I let out a shaky laugh. You could have warned me. I didn't think I was that obvious. You weren't, I said. That's the problem. His eyes softened. Are you still upset with me? He asked again, but this time, the question was different. Less teasing. More vulnerable. I thought about it. No, I said slowly. I'm not upset. Then what are you? I met his gaze, heart pounding. Conflicted. A smile touched his lips, small, restrained, almost sad. So am I. Another beat passed. I should go, I said. Yes, he agreed. Neither of us moved. I meant that professionally, I added. I know, he said. And personally, I hesitated. Personally, I said, I need time. He nodded. Take it. I grabbed my bag, walked toward the door, then paused with my hand on the handle. One more thing, I said without turning. Yes. Next time you make a decision that affects me, I said, you talk to me first. Deal, he said. And don't ask me if I'm upset like it's a joke. I won't. I opened the door. And, he added quietly, stopping me, for what it's worth, I'm glad you came up here. I looked back at him. So am I said. Then I left. The door closed behind me, but the tension didn't disappear with it. If anything, it followed me.